Hello and welcome back to Kayfabe Krimes, the NXT UK review. Before we start off, I'm going to be just getting through most of the show so I can go and talk about that stellar main event. Before I talk about the main event, I will put up a spoiler warning. I really recommend you go and watch the match, then come back and watch the review if you want to. If you're okay with the spoilers and the description of the match, that's fine. But if not, pause it, go watch the show, then come back. But it was fantastic. Let me just run through the rest of the show first quickly, then we'll get onto that amazing main event. Actually, the title might spoil this, so I'm not sure. Need to get those clicks, need to get that thumbnail. We'll see. I'm sorry if I spoil it in the thumbnail. We start off the show with a recap of last week's main event. They really didn't do anything with that for the rest of the show, which I thought was disappointing, but I don't know. Depends on their filming schedule. And then a video package for Kaylee Ray versus Meiko Satomura, which is the main event of today's show. Then my king Volta comes out, the Bruno Sammartino of the modern era in my eyes. The man who should take over Bruno Sammartino for the longest time holding a title in the WWE. I'm not including Moolah in that. Walter comes out, he just reaffirms what he normally says, which is how important he is to the NXT UK title and how he's made it important by holding it for over 800 days, being the longest champion in the modern era of WWE. And he sort of repeats this thing where he says he is there to bring respect and restore prestige to wrestling. The mat is sacred. I was surprised they didn't do more with Walter and his potential competitors, but you know what? This show was all about Meiko and Kaylee. They had 30 minutes basically at the end, and it was worth every minute of it. I want to get to the match so badly, you can tell. Also, they genuinely do. They should have held the camera on Walter for a few more seconds. I feel like that was not great direction or editing. They should have held on Walter for a little bit longer, because then they cut to Jordan Devlin backstage, and I'm like, I don't care about this. Hold on Walter for a little bit longer. You don't need 30 seconds on Devlin. You could have held on Walter for a little bit longer. But I digress. That's a production thing. Then it's subculture in what's basically a student film of a promo, which I kind of like. It kind of fits the whole vibe of them being like, it's going to be Danny Luna and Flash Morgan Webster versus Joseph Connors and Ginny next week. It did feel very student filmy, I'm not going to lie. And then my boy Saxon Huxley gets a match. My second favourite wrestler in UK behind Walter. Saxon Huxley gets a match against Jordan Devlin. And you know what? Saxon Huxley got a lot of offense in this. Like, they really put him over, which I think means they're going to put him with Joseph Connors and Ginny, but I digress. He got a lot of offense in this. He took it to the outside. He really took it to Devlin. Devlin hit a really cool cutter whilst he jumped over the rope from the apron. That was cool. But again, Saxon Huxley really got some good offense. And he got a 2.5 count with like a double choke slam I don't know if it's a crucifix, not crucifix pin, but double choke slam, and then he puts his legs over his ankles over the wrists of Devlin whilst he pins him. But basically, Saxon Huxley has Devlin up in like a valley driver position. Devlin gets Huxley put him down by kneeing him in the head, by elbowing him in the head, and then he just pulls him in for Devlin side for 3. Really good showing for Saxon Huxley. I was surprised they gave him as much offense as he did, but you know, maybe they want to build him up a little bit, which I quite like the idea of doing. Up next, okay. I've said I have heel heat with Pretty Deadly, which is good, but they kind of got over with me here. Well, Pretty Deadly were coming out to basically commentate for the next match, but before that we see the Gallus boys, well, 2 of them, Mark Coffey and Wolfie, being like, oh, I'm the best singles competitor, I'm the best singles competitor, and they're arguing in Slimy Sid's office, and like, no, I beat my guy first. And then Gradwell Yogurt walks in, and he's like, "Oh, I'm interrupting nothing," and Wolfie is like, "Bagsy." I'm like, "Yes, Wolfie, actually Wolfie is torn with second with Saxon Huxley." So that basically sets up a match with Wolfie and Gradwell next week, which will be interesting. I really hope they don't job Wolfie. I want Wolfie to get some wins, especially because he lost to Trent recently, and he lost to Mark Coffey. So I want him to get a win, please. But anyway, we go back, and it's a tag match between Andy Wild and Dan Maloney, who got a jobber entrance, versus Symbiosis, which is Primate and T-Bone with Eddie Dennis. And Pretty Deadly won commentary. I'm not going to lie, Pretty Deadly got over with me here. Like, very much so. I really enjoyed them on commentary, I'm not going to lie. Basically, I don't know which one of the guys in Pretty Deadly are, because I don't know who's who. I don't know their names, just know them as Pretty Deadly. But one of them dropped the line where I'm pretty sure Nigel was like, "Oh, I heard you guys got invites to Buckingham Palace." And one of them was like, "Yeah, I said to Lizzie, if Megan isn't there, we're not there." And I'm like, beautiful. That got Pretty Deadly over with me. Pretty Deadly, who are meant to be heels. Like, that would get heel heat with some people. Obviously, they're talking about the Queen. But to me, that's like, beautiful. I love that. That line alone got Pretty Deadly over for me. And I really like their energy. Yes, boy. I like heel heat, but I love their energy. I don't know, man. But anyway, back to the match. Like, this entire match, I was only wanting to listen to Pretty Deadly. The match was fine. You know what? They gave Andy Wild and Dan Maloney a lot of offense against Primate and T-Bone, which I was surprised about. This match was two powerful teams going up against each other, and I'm very much surprised they gave Dan Maloney and Andy Wild as much offense as they did. You know what? Pleasantly surprised, to say the least. But yeah, Pretty Deadly were like all I was thinking about with this match. However, the match ends with Andy Wild in the ring. He just loses the momentum. Then Primate and T-Bone do their finisher, where T-Bone hits a scoop slam, and then Primate hits a diving headbutt whilst T-Bone keeps Dan Maloney out the ring. I feel their finisher is anticlimactic, but what do I know? I'm a viewer. That's just my personal take. Up next, we had Teoman with this really cool video package. Like, he sat at a table. It's very well filmed. Again, a little bit student filmy, but like, finally a student. You know, this is good. Not student filmy. That's actually does a disservice to this promo, because it actually was pretty good. I take back the student film thing. But yeah, I liked it. It was very dark. Portrait almost the closest thing I could compare it to in WWE television is like an Aleister Black type deal before the whole, fairy tale thing. Like, Aleister Black type promo is the closest thing I could think of with Teoman. Teoman's promo, he's basically calling out Oliver Carter and Ashton Smith. I don't really know their history, but that's me. Then we get the announcement of Gradwell Yogurt versus Wolfie, and then also the Subculture match versus Ginny and Joseph Connors. And now, finally, we get onto the main event. So, I'm sorry, the title and the thumbnail are going to spoil this for you, but I need the clicks, okay? So if you don't want to hear about the match, go, okay? Spoilers and details of the match starting now. It's not going to be super detailed, but it's going to be detailed. So, Meiko Satomura, the final boss. I love that name that she has, against Kaylee Ray, the Forever Champion. Kaylee Ray is really great. Meiko's really great. About 30 minutes, I think they gave them. Perfection. Brilliant. Amazing. Probably the best NXT UK main event I've watched in a long time. I think probably the best one I've seen since I started doing these reviews. The only one that can maybe come close is Trent versus Jordan Devlin. But yeah, and this match was stellar. The match starts off with a very technical and a lot of strikes, which is, I think, the standard for competitors of this strength. technique and ability. Very much felt a little bit like a Japan match, which is great, which is beautiful. And they did something else which I felt was something that wasn't common for WWE. They do it sometimes in UK, but not common for WWE television, but we'll get on to that. So Kaylee's very frustrated. She goes outside the ring early. They fight a little bit outside. They're inside. Kaylee Ray is really trying to put away Meiko early. And you know what? Eventually, Kaylee Ray gets to do that. She starts countering a lot of Meiko's offense. She does this really cool move where they fought outside. They get in. She throws Meiko in, and Kaylee Ray is on the ropes outside. She sort of sticks her body through, then just kicks off from, I think, the bottom or middle rope and knees Meiko in the face, which, frankly, if not done correctly, would probably have broken something in Meiko's face. So kudos to how good of wrestlers they are that they didn't seriously maim each other with this match, because my god, it was physical. And yeah, from then on, for a good while, Kaylee Ray is cutting off a lot of Meiko's offense. Meiko was doing the thing where she runs up the rope to flip with a Pele kick, basically. Gets punched in the air by Kaylee. Really well done by Kaylee Ray. Really technical. I really like that. That's how they portray her, as a very technical wrestler who can, not like Pete Dunne technical, but has a very good wherewithal of wrestling, and I love that. So then we kind of move on. Meiko hits a nasty DDT on Kaylee Ray, and then she goes for her cartwheel kick. So she comes in, she cartwheels and brings down the legs or knees on their back. Kaylee kind of rolls out, but I don't think she rolled fully, because Meiko's leg catches her hair, and I think her toe or her boot might have clipped Kaylee, but not 100% sure. Moving on from there, Kaylee hits Meiko with the Death Valley Driver Bomb, which is one of Meiko's signature moves, and gets a 2.5 count. Soon after that, Meiko kind of gets out and then hits Kaylee Ray with a Gory Bomb for 2.5. I'm like, trading moves. But they didn't trade the Scorpio Rising Axe Kick, which I think is only for Meiko. And then this is the part where I'm like, this is very Japan. They start trading forearms. And I know Pete Dunne and A-Kid did that, I think, in their Heritage Cup match with punches. But this was like, they were going really full on forearm, then a lot of forearms, then reversal. Really great. And then Kaylee just keeps on knocking down Meiko. And then Meiko basically enters beast mode here, where she just not no-sells, but she gets super kicked once, takes a second and gets up. Super kicked again, takes a second, gets up. Super kicked a third time, takes a second, and then just gets back up. And then basically Meiko hits a Death Valley Bomb, and Kaylee kicks out. And then Kaylee kind of gets back on the offense. And then here, she hits a super kick, a Gory Bomb, and then goes to the top rope because she knows that won't finish Meiko, and hits a Senton/Swanton Bomb and gets a 2.5 count. And I'm like, I was like, Meiko's going to win this match. But still, I wasn't 100% convinced what the outcome of this match would be. From then on, after that, Kaylee was like, I can't. She leaves, she does the heel thing, she grabs the title, she's going to walk out, retain it by DQ, which I think is a messed up rule in the WWE. I'm glad, New Japan, that's not a rule, it's the other way around. But I digress. It just, from a sporting perspective, whatever. And the ref's trying to stop her, then Meiko gets out when at the bottom of the ramp. Kaylee goes to hit her with the belt. Meiko ducks, then hits a Death Valley Bomb on the outside. Then it's a little bit awkward, they were taking a while to get into the ring. There wasn't a lot of urgency, but maybe they were selling, they were tired, and Meiko was like, I don't know if this is enough to finish off Kaylee. She throws Kaylee into the ring. Meiko comes in, gets a kick on, but Kaylee rolls out. Meiko's going out to go get her. Kaylee pulls her off from the apron, which I mean, if you've seen a wrestling ring, it's actually a really big form, but from the camera it doesn't look like it. And these are wrestlers, they do that it looks like they do that all the time, but still, you're deep into a match, so it's like, oh wow. And then Kaylee gets up and hits a gory bomb, but Meiko goes face/body first into the apron, like the beam, the hardest part of the ring. I'm like, wow, okay. There I was like, Kaylee is going to retain this. Gets her inside, 2.5 count. I'm like, wow. Meiko manages to go up to the top rope when she's got Kaylee on the ground. Kaylee gets up, punches her, goes for a superplex, but Meiko reverses that into a top rope sunset flip bomb, gets a 2.5 count. And here I'm just like, what the heck? Kaylee's in the middle of the ring. Meiko goes in, gets a sleeper hold on her. Kaylee gets out, gets another sleeper hold on. Kaylee gets the ropes. Meiko has to let go. And here, Meiko is just like, what are you doing? She kicks her in the head once. Kaylee gets out. She runs in, does like a rolling kick to the head. Picks her up. Death Valley bomb. Kaylee's like on her knees. Meiko's in the corner. She's like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Hits her with a Scorpio Rising axe kick, and then 1, 2, 3. Meiko Satomura picks up her first belt in the WWE, and I believe in WCW as well. Just amazing. I knew they'd put this belt on Meiko eventually. The fact they gave that away on free TV, the network / BT Sports, not exactly free, but you know what I mean, not a pay-per-view, is incredible. And then afterwards, the celebration, like, they gave Meiko the belt. They had the red and the yellow streamers going across, and it lasted a good 3 or 4 minutes, which was really great. They gave her the fanfare as the final boss, as one of the greatest wrestlers of a generation, of all time. Very much so, she deserved that sort of celebration. If this NXT UK title run is the only title she gets in the WWE, this is what she deserves. That kind of celebration is what she deserves. She deserves a massive celebration. I think she's going to be a Walter type champion. Obviously, Kaylee Ray had it for a long time, but then we had the pandemic, etc. Who knows how long she would have held the belt without the pandemic. But still, they played into that story of her being a long reigning champion, and now Meiko's got that. Meiko can go off and get an Asuka type run that she had in NXT Prime. Not obviously Walter has the same thing as Kaylee Ray, but you can really use Meiko now, holding that belt for a long time, to build someone into a huge, massive star. Get Meiko to fight off everyone. Have her hold that belt for a year and a half. Next time you can have a massive event. Meiko Satomura main event against whoever they're going to build to that, for the title. Potentially Meiko's career as well. What a huge match you can build up to with someone like Meiko Satomura. Kaylee Ray is so over. She's done so well. Potentially, she could easily right now go to NXT Prime and win that title. Obviously, you know, you'd have to factor in things and, you know, the whims. Obviously, there's Triple H, but still, incredible. So good, like, such a fantastic match. Like, I went into this thinking Meiko's going to pick this up, but at points then it made me doubt myself. I was like, wait, Kaylee Ray could hold on to this. So good. I highly recommend you watch this match. I'm sorry for the spoilers in the title and the thumbnail, but you know, click through rate. But yeah, fantastic match. I highly recommend you watch Meiko Satomura versus Kaylee Ray. Watch both matches. Watch the first match and then this match. Like, it goes from respectful and technical to chippy and a fight in this one. But I've been talking for long enough. Let me know what you thought of this week's episode of NXT UK. Tell me what you think should be the plans with Meiko Satomura going into the future. I would love to hear your thoughts down below. Subscribe, like, share with friends and family, and remember, go and watch some more wrestling today. Do it.